Good morning and welcome to the Bill Press Show, live on Free Speech TV and streaming online at TawkrTV. Happy Monday, October 21st. My name is Peter Ogburn. I'm sitting in for Bill today. I've got some help all throughout the show. Clinton Yates from the Washington Post is going to be here, along with some good friends from the National Journal, Politico, Think Progress, and BuzzFeed. You're going to make sure you want to watch the entire show today. Lots of good stuff coming up. The shutdown is over, but what happens next? Mitch McConnell over the weekend said that when it comes time to another fight, the Republicans will not shut down the government. Do you believe him? I think I do. I think Republicans like Mitch McConnell, who have done this for a while and know the game, realize that they're not going to shut down the government because it's bad for them. They saw the damage that it did. Meanwhile, Healthcare.gov has had several technical difficulties. The president will be speaking today from the Rose Garden a little bit later on this afternoon. He's going to address the issues, what happened, what went wrong, how are they going to fix it. We're going to talk about that and maybe give him some ideas on how they can maybe save face a little bit on that whole issue. Meanwhile, in Virginia, Terry McAuliffe got a big endorsement and a big speaking endorsement over the weekend. Hillary Clinton showed up and spoke on his behalf in Virginia. Didn't do much for the Richmond Times-Dispatch, though, the paper in Virginia, declining to give an endorsement. They didn't want to endorse Terry McAuliffe or Ken Cuccinelli. They just decided to stay out of it. Plus, we're going to be talking to Think Progress's Travis Waldron. Big sports weekend from the college football. I mean, the top 25 were rocked over the weekend. We'll talk about some of the upsets there. Plus, NFL football weekend, exciting stuff. And, of course, if he's here, we're going to be talking about the Washington football team and whether or not they should change their name. That's all coming up. I'm Peter Ogburn, in for Bill Press.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach
likes
your
you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Change the world.
your TV and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
Good morning and welcome to the Bill Press Show, live on your radio and seen all around the country on Free Speech TV and TawkrTV, which you can watch at youtube.com/TawkrTV, TAWKR. Happy Monday, October 21st. It is the Bill Press Show. Clearly, I am not Bill Press, and clearly he is not Bill Press.
I'm not.
My name is Peter Ogburn.
My name is Clinton Yates.
Clinton Yates. We're going to be hosting the show today, and thank you all so very much for tuning in. Clinton, thank you for coming in.
Glad to be here, man. You know I love morning radio.
It's a rough schedule doing morning radio.
I'm not going to lie.
I'm not going to lie.
I enjoy it.
This Monday was a little rough for me. I went to the Washington football game yesterday, which I never go do.
Yeah.
So it was a crazy NFL week. I want to talk about my time there and talk about what happened all around the league and the sports world yesterday. Running the board is Dan Henning. Mr. Henning, hello there.
Good morning.
And screening your calls is Alicia Cruz. If you call 866-55-PRESS, you'll be lucky enough to talk to Alicia. Making us look good, or as good as he can on the video, is Cyprian Bolding in there representing.
Sip is decked out, by the way.
He is representing. Boy, let me tell you something. He's excited.
Best 2-4 team in the league.
Best 2-4.
That's a joke, people. If you're 2-4, your team stinks.
Well, here's the thing about the Washington football team yesterday. So I went to the game.
Yeah.
And they are not exactly known for being an offensive powerhouse, right? Like Robert Griffin III has not been as good
season.
as he has been. In that one other season that he played.
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, he's clear. He doesn't have what he used to have.
By the way, you went to the game. I thought you had a self-imposed ban of never going to FedEx Field.
I did put a ban on myself to never go again. And I also knew that it was going to be a beautiful day out yesterday, and I wanted to be outside.
Took the plunge.
And someone said, hey, I got a ticket. Why don't you come with us? Okay. Right. So I went.
All right.
And don't get it twisted. FedEx Field is a horrible experience.
Awful.
Going to FedEx Field is terrible.
It's an all-day affair. I tell people all the time, they say, hey, I've never been to an NFL game. I say, hey, go to Baltimore. It takes you just as long to get there and back, and you'll have just as good of an experience.
Classic example of why it sucks, right? So, like, I was on one of the levels. You have to take an escalator to get up to, or a series of escalators to get up to, right? Or you could just walk down a ramp, right? A series of ramps to get you down, right? So that way there's no crowd control. Game ends, people head for Z Hills, right? They're heading out. No. That stadium, the ramps are closed. Everybody has to take the escalator.
That just seems like such an inherent safety risk.
Right?
Beyond the inconvenience.
And forget the whole walkers on the left, standers on the... everybody just gets on and just plops down like a sack of wet rags and just boom, and they don't move.
Why were the ramps closed?
I don't know. Because it's a screwy organization that wants to inflict as much pain on their fans as possible. I don't know.
They've been pretty successful in doing that recently.
Right. I mean, it's just a total mess.
I haven't been to FedEx Field, and I mean, again, just the whole paying $50 for parking. Mm-hmm. Everything takes 3 hours. It's just too much. It's such an over-consumer type of environment that you just want to stay away. I mean, it's not worth it unless you have to be there. I mean, sometimes it can be fun if you've got everything sort of comped in and out, but that's not 90% of the people that are there, not remotely.
No. And so they were playing the Bears, who not a bad team,
not bad.
But the Washington football team won yesterday. Now, here's the interesting thing: they scored 6 touchdowns. It was an offensive, full
shootout.
Yeah, totally. So here in the Washington area, there's a deal, right? So if for every touchdown that they score, you can get a large pizza from Papa John's for $9.99, right? And for every touchdown they score, you get a free topping.
Do they have to win?
But then if they win, you get double the toppings for the touchdowns that they scored.
Wow.
So you today in the Washington area, I mean, granted, it's Papa John's, so I mean, you got to like boiled pizza.
I was about to say.
Look.
Come on.
But you could get a large $9.99 pizza with 12 toppings.
They've been doing that deal different pizza organizations have been doing that deal for decades here, and it's been a huge deal.
12 toppings, though.
Well, what's the reasonable limit on toppings, though? Where do you go when you order
If you go over, like me, I go easy. I go like a mushroom, an onion, and maybe a
pepper.
meat. Maybe a meat situation, right? I'll put a meat situation in there. Max 5.
Yeah, I maxed out at 4. I was about to say.
Like, and 5 is pushing it. 4.
5 was like, when you've got a bunch of 12-year-olds in a room who can't decide on anything, maybe 5. But more than that, 12 is, that's useless.
I couldn't even name 12 toppings.
That's what I was about to say. And you can't have, they don't have 12 toppings that you can put together that will actually taste decent.
Right. Mushroom, onion, pepper, jalapeno peppers, right?
If you could spread that out,
family.
If you could spread that out over a couple pizzas, that'd be a pretty good deal. Otherwise,
But then you've got a whole family of meat you could put on it: pepperoni, sausage, meatball, ground beef, ham.
Meat lovers.
You got everything.
Pineapple.
Can I just get one pizza with 12 extra cheese toppings? Extra cheese twice.
That
just
sounds
like
disgusting. At
a little bit of bread,
morning.
like a bread bowl with a hillock of cheese on. I'm just give me one of those for $10.
Wow. Yeah.
Thanks.
Bring it to my seat at FedEx Field. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So they won yesterday. We're going to talk about the sort of ongoing controversy with the name of the Washington football team next hour with Travis Waldron from Think Progress. Again, my name is Peter Ogburn. Clinton Yates is in with me from the Washington Post.
It's me.
I want to talk a little bit about Healthcare.gov, the healthcare website that the president rolled out to help get Americans enrolled in Obamacare. He's going to be talking today about it, and we're going to talk about it in just a few moments. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
Other headlines making news on this Monday. The Baseball World Series is set after the St. Louis Cardinals beat the LA Dodgers Friday night. The Boston Red Sox beat the Detroit Tigers Saturday night. The Sox and Cards will face off beginning Wednesday at Fenway Park in Boston. It's a rematch of the 2004 World Series. Almost completely different teams, though. The Red Sox won that in 4 straight games. It's their 3rd trip to the dance in 10 years. It's the Cardinals' 4th.
Cardinals fans have become completely I don't even know the word, but I cannot deal with Cards fans telling people that they know baseball better than everybody else. It is legitimately one of the most annoying things about the entire postseason so far.
Cardinals fan is the new Phillies fan.
Sort of, yeah, with a much higher sanctimony is just off the charts.
Yeah.
The Fifth Estate.
I think it's clear, by the way, that I'm rooting for the Red Sox.
Yes. The Fifth Estate flopped. The movie about Julian Assange and WikiLeaks opened in 7th place at the box office over the weekend, taking in just $1.7 million, a far cry from Gravity, number 1 for its 3rd straight weekend. Took in another $31 million. It's now $170.
They're still pulling in $31 million?
$31 million. It's $170 million total domestically now. Captain Phillips held 2nd place, and the new horror flick Carrie came in 3rd.
I saw Gravity. I think it actually could have been a half hour longer. There were things about that movie that I think they could have gone into a little bit more depth as far as storyline was concerned. But I wanted to say about that WikiLeaks movie, it's really hard to pull off a rip from the headlines film whilst it's still happening.
Right.
That's really tough. And I thought that was doomed from the get-go. When I first saw the preview, I was like, who is going to watch this? The story is still developing. I don't know. That seems like a far reach.
It's kind of right in my wheelhouse of a movie that I would want to go see under different circumstances. Yeah. I have no desire to see this.
Right. You might see it in 10 years.
Maybe, yeah.
If you have light, you have internet. A group of Chinese scientists have invented a light bulb that produces its own Wi-Fi signal. Gizmodo reports they call it Li-Fi. Instead of using radio waves, it uses light. Get it? It uses light frequencies to help spread an internet signal, which is much faster than a traditional wireless internet connection and potentially cheaper, but don't expect it to hit the market for at least a couple more years.
It seems like a solution to a non-problem.
Right?
Maybe that's just me.
Well, you don't have to get an extra wireless router. You just turn on your light, just turn on the lights in the room, and your internet's on.
Yeah, but then if your electricity goes out, I don't know.
What if something happens with your light? What if your bulb gets busted?
Then you're out. Then you're out of internet.
Light bulbs do bust. All right, thank you, Dan. It's Monday, October 21st. It's the Bill Press Show. I'm Peter Ogburn. He's Clinton Yates.
What's up?
So today is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Because at 11:25, the president is going to walk out into the Rose Garden, and he's going to deliver some comments on Healthcare.gov. Now, this is the website that Americans have been looking at and signing up for Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, and it has had its fair share of problems.
To put it lightly.
The very first day when it was rolled out, essentially nobody could get on.
Yeah.
I tried to get on, reporters everywhere tried to get on, and nobody, I mean, you couldn't really get past the first step. And that went on for a couple of days. They fixed some stuff. They said that it was because of traffic. It turns out some experts looked at it and said, it might just be a problem with how the website is designed, not so much traffic. Like if you just had a small group of people trying to get in at one point, it would just sort of shut everything down. There are some problems, and the president's going to talk about it, and I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's going to...
I don't know. I mean, we were discussing this before, and I guess what I'm wondering is whether or not I don't think the average American understands what really the logistics of running a website are really about. You know what I mean? And so when you say, "Hey, the website didn't work," it's like, what? That I mean, all websites are supposed to work. You know what I mean? How is it that the White House can't figure out how to do it? And I think if he took the time to explain that what happened was something that was in fact a technical problem, and explained it on some level, I think a lot of people would appreciate that, even if it's not sort of the biggest issue in the context of sort of everything else regarding the law and all that. I mean, I think people would, like I said, people would appreciate knowing, hey, just what happened. I mean, that's weird,
Yeah. The first day that the president came out and talked about some of the problems that they were having, he sort of said, well, Apple rolled out the iPhone and, it was dropping phone calls. So like these things aren't perfect, which I get, I understand, but at least there were some functions of the iPhone that worked. Like this just didn't work for a lot of Americans. Now here's the story that I think is getting buried. Administration officials have now said that since they've tweaked it and worked on it and sort of gotten it back in fighting shape, the website, 476,000 health insurance applications have been filed for exchanges. That's almost 500,000 people who are now going to be able to get enrolled in this thing. So that is actually a much bigger number than I was anticipating, given all the problems that we've been hearing about.
Which makes a lot of the far right's claims that, the website not working is another reason why we shouldn't be having this law at all totally bogus. Yeah. People clearly are interested in the healthcare. And that's something that I think, listen, you cannot conflate these two things. A problem with the website is a problem with the website. It doesn't mean that trying to get everybody affordable healthcare is a bad idea. And it doesn't mean necessarily that the law is problematic. So, I mean, I think we understand here that even though it is a major egg on their face situation to have a site flop on you during rollout, I don't think it changes the intent there. And that, I mean, if the goal is to get people healthcare, the goal is still to get people healthcare.
So Republicans sort of smell blood, and they think that maybe they can, call for Kathleen Sebelius to be fired.
I do not understand that at all. I mean, how do you correlate trying to fire Sebelius over something like this? Right. I do not understand that. Maybe you fire a tech designer or two.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're certainly not going to get rid of, that's outrageous.
So the president's going to speak today. What should he say? Give us a call at 866-55-PRESS, 866-557-7377. Here's what I think he should say. I think he said, look, we screwed up.
Yeah.
We thought we were ready. We weren't ready. That's the bad news. We're going to fix it. We've got this plan in place to fix it. That's the good news. Or that's we're working.
That's what we're doing.
We're working to get that fixed. More good news. 500,000 people are now enrolled that weren't enrolled before. And okay, so now you're going to be able to enroll in this 30 days later than you thought you were going to be able to, but you can still do it.
Yeah, it's still a thing.
It's still a thing.
I think, and I think it would be a smart move to not get too political about it. You know what I'm saying? Just make the point that, hey, we're trying to provide something for Americans that was not there before. I don't think he needs to address really on any level what the opposition has to say about it. I think he needs to state what the facts are of what has occurred, how they plan to fix it, and go forward with what he thinks his plan is.
Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi over the weekend was on one of the Sunday shows. She actually chimed in about it, and she, I think, agrees with where I'm coming from.
This is unacceptable. It has to be changed. But any system that deals with that many millions of people frequently does have a glitch.
So you're going to have glitches. I wish
a little more than a glitch.
I wish that the glitch hadn't been so big so soon.
Yeah.
But that's just how it happened. But they're going to fix it. I feel confident about that. President's going to talk about it today. 866-55-PRESS is our phone number, 866-557-7377. It is the Bill Press Show. I'm Peter Ogburn. He's Clinton Yates. Take a quick break. We'll be right back with your phone calls.
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on TawkrTV. This is the Bill Press Show.
pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit StopBullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know, you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Change the world.
Follow us on Twitter @BP Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
Welcome back. It is The Bill Press Show. I'm Peter Ogburn.
I'm Clinton Yates.
Clinton Yates is in with us today. We're hosting the show for Bill while he's gone, and we're taking your calls at 866-55-PRESS, 866-557-7377. We're talking about Healthcare.gov, the website that is allowing Americans to sign up for the Affordable Care Act and get Obamacare. If you don't have insurance, you can now get it, although it's been plagued with some problems. Taking your calls on this. Let's go to Frank in Mobile, Alabama. Frank, welcome to the show.
Hey, you know, I was a supporter of the whole national health care Obama thing. I think you're missing the point.
Okay.
Like you said, well, you know, it's a glitch and it's a technical problem. It was a lot of money Hell, they spent $13 billion just trying to get people excited about it in California. It's the money it costs is why she should be fired.
So you think Sebelius should be fired?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then I sign up, right? I had health care, right? So I'm going on there. I finally get in there. I finally get to see what things cost. And I'm like, oh, my God, I can't afford health care now. I'm going to pay a lot more because there's so many requirements.
Did you just say you had health care?
Abuse. I don't need substance abuse.
What? Wait.
I'm not understanding this
Wait.
correlation.
Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying, Frank. So did you have health care before?
Oh, yeah, I pay for it myself.
But what?
And it's gone up 25%.
And what? If you were going to try and get health care from the Affordable Care Act?
Yeah. All excited about it.
What kind of insurance? What kind of coverage did you have before this?
Why wouldn't people be excited about something that's affordable and cheaper?
Frank, I'm sorry, dude. Look, I'm willing to hear you out. I don't follow what you're saying. I'm really and truly, I don't follow what you're trying to tell me. Let's go to Jim in Las Vegas. Jim, thanks for calling.
Hey, fellas, I've been on the website 3 times. I live in Las Vegas. We have a Republican governor who embraced the program to co-sponsor it with the federal government from the very beginning. So, Governor Sandoval, 3 months before October 1st, he had 2 websites set up. They were advertising it on TV. On the first day, I went to Healthcare.gov. It says, what state do you live in? It directed me directly to one of the 2 websites in the state of Nevada. I checked out different prices. I looked, a couple of them, the insurance companies didn't have the exact prices for me. I'm 57. I have pre-existing high blood pressure. I was paying $980 a month for health care because I have high blood pressure. I went back a couple of days later, rechecked the figures. Then I got dental with it, too. I had no problem getting online on the website whatsoever. I got my health care now for $180 a month.
Boom.
It's plus I got dental insurance for $21 a month.
That's great.
Yeah, A-plus situation.
Yeah, that's awesome. And good for you for being able to do that early on. I know a lot of people weren't able to, but if you do get through and you do find out what's on there, there's some good stuff that's going to help a lot of Americans.
There was an example right there.
I mean, that's an amazing story.
Yeah, glad to hear it.
I hope the White House is listening, man. Call him up. Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates in for Bill. Quick break. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
This is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. Pressing down, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You know, I followed your character since the first episode. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Thank you.
And listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is very adult content. Too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
It is The Bill Press Show. Peter Ogburn.
I'm Clinton Yates.
Sitting in for Bill today, Monday, October 21st. Remember, you can not only listen to the show, as a lot of you are doing on your favorite progressive radio station, you can also watch the show. We are live on Free Speech TV, which you can see on Dish Network, channel 9415, and DirecTV, channel 348. If you do not have Free Speech TV, don't worry. You can still watch the show on your computer. Go to BillPressShow.com. We have it there. Or you could go to YouTube.com/TawkrTV, TawkrTV. That's the channel. And there, not only can you watch the show live, you can watch some of our old shows, or all of our old shows that we have there, including some sort of interviews that we cut out that you could watch sort of on demand. It's a great site there. Go check it out. And by the way, if that's too tough for you, I'm sorry, but you can also just follow us on Twitter at BP Show, because we send the link out every day. What else do you want from me? I'm doing everything I can to get you here. Okay,
chainsaws in the air.
I'm telling you. So we're talking about the Affordable Care Act, the website Healthcare.gov, which has had its fair share of glitches. The president is going to speak about those today. A couple things he's going to, or that he's already sort of let slip in terms of getting the word out. So 476,000 people have applied for healthcare on healthcare.gov. That's almost 500,000 people. So you better believe he's going to mention that today.
Yeah, for certain. I mean, I think that's got to be one of the key numbers that he stresses in his speech today.
He's also, White House officials said that they have upped the staffing at the call centers by 50%, because that was one of the other issues, is people who were having a hard time getting online were then able to call the toll-free number.
Yeah.
And
so they got a couple more hands on deck.
They got some more hands on deck there, and I have a good feeling that the president is going to say, beginning this date, right, and that might be in a week.
Probably.
It's going to be completely refurbished, completely ready. You can go there with confidence. And all I could say is it had better be ready.
It better be ready,
It better be
that
ready
dang
if he
thing
comes
better
out
be
and does it
working.
again. Yeah.
Hope that old man knocked out the tractor beam.
Exactly.
A real short trip.
866-55-PRESS is our phone number. What do you want to hear the president say today? What should the president say today? We're taking your calls. Let's go to Sherry in Chicago, Illinois. Sherry, thanks for calling.
Hey, good morning. Enjoying the show.
Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate it.
I went through the system about a week ago, and I'm in Illinois, and I had no problem. I didn't go all the way through. I technically wanted to test it because of all the hoopla, about this being wrong and that being wrong. I understand the glitches and all that, but Two things come to mind real quick is the ambulances that we would see on the news about the hospitals putting these indigent people in them and dumping them on the street or in alleys because they had no health insurance to pay for their medical condition. Number two, I think of George Bush and the invasion of Iraq. When the soldiers got over there, they had no translators. They were standing around looking totally in awe.
So what do you think about the healthcare rollout here, Sherry, about the president, what he should say today?
It's excellent. What he should say first and foremost is apologize. He has to apologize because someone dropped the ball, and he's where he's at in the White House. He has to take responsibility. It's an awesome thing. It'll go through, and we'll be talking about something else, hopefully, within the next 30 days. But
all right, Sherry, I appreciate the call. I don't know that the president needs to apologize. I think he needs to come up and own up to it. I don't think he personally...
Admitting you made a mistake is different from an apology.
Right.
And apologies imply, I don't know, I agree with you. That just seems not more personal than it needs to be. I mean, you're talking about people's lives. You're talking about healthcare, but I don't... apologizing, I think, makes it seem like you might have thought that you tried to do something wrong and were caught. I don't think that's what the scenario is here. Something that they were looking to roll out didn't work. You move on. I mean,
I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Admitting that you weren't ready for something is different than saying, I'm sorry.
Which I just don't think is necessary in this case.
Own up to it.
Yeah.
Say, look, we got hammered on this. We weren't ready for it, and we are now.
Yeah.
You better believe we are now. Won't happen again.
It'll be an interesting one today.
866-55-PRESS is our phone number. We'll continue taking calls on that as you call in. But another thing I want to play is a clip from Mitch McConnell. He was on some of the Sunday shows over the weekend. We are now out of the shutdown. It's over. But we are going to have this whole fight again soon.
Yeah.
And Republicans, especially the Tea Partiers, I mean, they are here for one reason and one reason only. That is to shut down the government. And so they're not going to, or I should say, to repeal Obamacare. And if that means they have to shut down the government,
so be it.
So be it.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating that these Tea Party members have now turned Mitch McConnell into a sort of, someone that we look up to.
He's looking good.
He looks great.
He looks great. I mean, this is to me the grand irony in all of this is that GOP members who the average American looked at as, not the average American, but the average left-leaning American looked at as somebody that they thought that they just didn't agree with on any level, suddenly comes much closer to center just in the average American's mind. It's fascinating to watch.
When the deal fell apart in the House, Mitch McConnell and Harry Reid got together and got it done.
Yeah.
And we are going to see this fight again, but Mitch McConnell made it very clear, Republicans are not going to shut the government down again.
One of my favorite old Kentucky sayings is there's no education in the second kick of a mule. The first kick of the mule occurred back in 1995 when the Republican House shut down the government. Look, shutting down the government, in my view, is not conservative policy. I don't think a 2-week paid vacation for federal employees is conservative policy. A number of us were saying back in July that this strategy could not and would not work, and of course it didn't. So there'll not be another government shutdown. You can count on that.
All right, first of all,
old Kentucky sayings.
You grew up with that saying, right, Clinton?
I need a book of him writing old Kentucky sayings and tell me every single one he's got, because that is great.
Isn't that great? There's no education in the second kick of a mule.
Wow.
I mean, that's like the old fool me once, shame on you.
One of the greatest botched cliches of all time.
You fool me, can't get fooled again. That's that old Kentucky saying.
Right. Yeah, but I think he's to get to his point, though, I want to make clear, though, I think he kind of mischaracterizes what the shutdown really meant for a lot of people. To say that it's a 2-week paid vacation, a paid vacation is something that you go into knowing when it will begin and when it will end. And as much as I agree with his sentiment of they probably shouldn't do it again, I don't want to. I think it's unfair to act as if people weren't really nervous, and it really did affect a lot of lives. It wasn't just we're going to take a break so you people can walk this off. Not remotely. I mean, it was a very anxious period for a lot of Americans, and I think he sort of underplayed that there.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. But the takeaway from that clip to me is what he said there right at the end. There will not be another government shutdown.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
And we will see if he could deliver on that, by the way. But I know, in the Senate, there are guys like him that have been around for a long time. I think you got 1.5 rogue senators, and I'm talking specifically about Ted Cruz and Mike Lee, who sort of helped engineer the shutdown on the House side of things. The House, I mean, that is just Dodge City over there right now. And so I don't know how McConnell's message of we're not shutting down the government again is going to travel, but best of luck.
Yeah, I mean,
best of luck.
Who knows? I mean, if the Tea Party really, really goes to the wall with this, I just think that most of America is going to be like, look, this is absurd.
Yeah.
We are a country that relies on a democracy. Get with the program and step up and do something. It just doesn't make sense to try to be shutting things down all the time as a matter of policing, politicking in the nation. It's stupid on many levels.
You're right. It's just dumb. And one of the names that's been out there as a possible contender for 2016 is Jeb Bush.
Yeah.
And I thought he spoke very clear to this issue. He was on ABC's This Week. He first of all says, okay, folks, you don't like Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act? Offer something else.
I think the best way to repeal Obamacare is to have an alternative. We never hear the alternative. We could do this in a much lower cost with improved quality based on our principles, free market principles.
And he goes on to talk specifically about Ted Cruz, who just sort of torpedoed the Republicans.
So far out there, that guy.
Here's what he had to say about Ted Cruz.
Tactically, it was a mistake to focus on something that couldn't be achieved. And that's what that was. It was tactics.
So this is fascinating because I just got this in this morning. I'm just trying to pull it up really quickly.
Jeb Bush sounding extremely measured. And again, another guy who in a lot of liberals' minds aligned himself with public enemy number one.
Yeah.
Sounding like a pretty reasonable person in this scenario.
Absolutely. CNN breaking news a little less than an hour ago, new poll, and 54% of Americans say that it's a bad thing that the GOP controls the House of Representatives. That's up 11 points from last December.
Double-digit increase.
Double-digit in less than a year.
Yeah.
This was done after the shutdown.
Wow.
63% of Americans think that Speaker John Boehner should be replaced.
Ouch.
That is a view, by the way, that is shared by just about half of all Republicans that were asked.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that his job security is eventually what was tied into so much of this. Something as simple as that, you know, that aggravates a lot of people about how Washington works.
Absolutely. All right, we'll take a quick break. Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates sitting in for Bill. Up next, we're going to be talking to National Journal Hotline's executive editor, Steve Shepard. He's going to be joining us via telephone. Make sure you tune in. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
This is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. Racing down, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You know, I followed your character since the first episode. I'm a big fan. Big fan. Thank you. And listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is very adult content. Too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
Like politics? Then like The Bill Press Show on Facebook. This is The Bill Press Show.
It is The Bill Press Show. Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates sitting in for Bill Press this morning. October 21st, Monday. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Remember, we're taking your calls at 866-55-PRESS. Tweeting all throughout the show. A couple different handles to give you. At BP Show is the show Twitter feed. I'm tweeting at Peter Ogburn, PeterOgburn. And Clinton Yates also tweeting. He's at Clinton Yates.
That's me.
Yates.
Yep.
And not just for today. Follow Clinton all the time. There's tons of great content out there. On
I'm active on the Twitter box.
Yeah, man. That's a good thing. Speaking of which, Hotline the executive editor Steve Shepard joined us. You can follow him at Hotline Steve on Twitter. Steve, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Morning, guys.
So we were just talking right before the break about this new CNN poll says 54% say it's a bad thing that the GOP controls the House of Representatives. That's probably not the news that Republicans were looking for out of the shutdown.
Right. Well, this is actually a big change for CNN. They've asked this question 5 times. This is the 5th time they've asked the question since Republicans took back the House in 2010. And they've always found at least a plurality, in most cases a majority, thought it was good for the country. Look, Americans have they believe in the system of checks and balances, and so they've generally liked the idea of divided government. But looking at this poll, this is the first time the percentage that think it's bad for the country is at 54%. The previous high was only 43%. So we're looking at a pretty big change and a pretty significant finding.
So do you think that this is going to lead to any tipping in terms of races down the line for Republicans in their districts back home?
Election day 2014 is a long way away, but I think you're seeing some signs that things are turning around a little bit. Democrats claim that they're able to coax candidates who were reluctant to run in the midterm election. The president's party usually does pretty poorly in a midterm election, particularly in the second term. They're able to get these people off the fence who might have been waiting for 2016. Now they're going to run. Lee Terry, a congressman from Omaha, Nebraska, has had the Democrat who's running against him decided to run last week. He had previously ruled out running, despite the fact he was recruited by the DCCC. So now you're seeing some of these recruits start to come off the fence, and I think that's more significant looking ahead to 2014 necessarily than that's how that's going to bear out. Also with fundraising, that you're going to see things like that point to 2014 more so than looking at polls and the generic ballot.
One of the questions I have through all of this is, that so many of these races are local races, and, like we were talking to Wayne Slater from the Dallas Morning News a couple weeks ago, who said, Americans in general look at Ted Cruz as a divisive figure and sort of think he's just generally kind of an ass.
Right.
But in Texas, they love him. And so I'm curious to know if some of these people who engineered the government shutdown at home, if they're proud of that and if their constituents are okay with that government shutdown.
Well, and this gets to sort of the biggest impediment for Democrats to try to take back the House. There are roughly 200 seats that the way they are drawn and the way Americans have sort of clustered themselves, in addition to possible gerrymandering, they're pretty safe Republican seats. So you're going to find a lot of these members going home to their districts now. The House is back tomorrow, but they've been home for about 5 or 6 days, and they are hearing that they're doing a good job in many cases because these districts aren't really they're not really vulnerable to the Democrat winning.
Switching gears, over the weekend, Terry McAuliffe had some star power brought to the state. She brought Hillary Clinton to stump for him. How'd that go?
Well, for him, it was great having, like you said, the star power of Hillary Clinton. I think a lot of folks were more focused on her, perhaps, than him. I know at one point the event was in Falls Church, just outside D.C., and at one point the crowd was chanting for Hillary, and everyone tried to get them to chant instead for Terry McAuliffe.
Yeah, I would say it was entirely about her. I mean,
and you're finding, look, there's just not a ton of enthusiasm for any of the candidates for governor of Virginia. The Richmond Times-Dispatch this weekend decided that no candidate deserved their endorsement. So obviously, though, this is Hillary Clinton's first as Secretary of State. She was prohibited from engaging in electoral politics, and this is her first. She's done some fundraisers, but this is her first public event since becoming Secretary of State. So really, it's her first public event since rallying for Democrats and President Obama in 2008. So a lot of people were focused on her, and she's doing everything she needs to do to set herself up to run for president. Obviously, that decision is about 1.5 years away, though.
That is kind of amazing that the Richmond Times-Dispatch didn't endorse anybody.
Yeah, we're out.
I mean, Virginia is the state of presidents.
Exactly.
And they can't find anybody to run for governor that they like.
Though, actually, if you look at the polling, Terry McAuliffe, both candidates are not very popular, but Ken Cuccinelli is more unpopular than Terry McAuliffe. Opinions on Terry McAuliffe are pretty split down the middle, while Cuccinelli's favorables are upside down.
Oh, man. Wow. All right. Well, and when is that race? When does that go down?
That is 2 weeks from tomorrow.
A couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you before then for sure. Thanks so much for joining us, Steve Shepard from the Hotline, National Journal Hotline's executive editor. Follow him at Hotline Steve. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks for having me.
Take care, man. Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates in for Bill. Quick break. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
This is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. Racing dot, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You know, I followed your character since the first episode. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Thank you.
And listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is very adult content. Too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
This is the Bill Press Show.
It is the Bill Press Show. Peter Ogburn.
Clinton Yates.
Sitting in for Bill today, Monday, October 21st. So I mentioned I went to go see the Washington football team yesterday. Their running back, Alfred Morris, who's a beast, by the way.
Hits homers after he scores touchdowns.
Yeah.
Two-sport star.
He's awesome. But one of the great stories from last year, because it was his rookie year, is he was driving around this 1991 Mazda beater.
Total beater.
Hoopty,
if you will.
Yeah. And so, so he got re-signed and everything's looking good. Go buy yourself a new car. No, he didn't buy a new car. He went out and got that 1991 Mazda redone and revamped, totally restored, like a whole new everything inside, right? And there's some pictures of it. I'm going to tweet out a link to see some of the pictures of his new car.
He pimped his ride. If you
totally pimped his ride. Yeah, they're missing exhibit to show.
X to the Z.
Yo, dog, I heard you like football, so I'll put a football field in your car.
That would be awesome.
That'd be great.
Man, I think this joke was cool last year, but at this point, come on, man, get a new ride.
Get a new car.
What are you doing?
Get a new car. I heard yesterday, I was listening to the game afterwards, Fred Smoot, former football player, was talking. He goes, come on, man.
Fred Smoot is a legend in the game, by the way.
If you're not listening to Fred Smoot on the radio, you're missing out.
I love everything about him.
Get a new car, Alfred Morris. You got the money to do it. Good grief. All right, Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Good morning and welcome to the Bill Press Show, live on Free Speech TV and streaming online at TawkrTV. Happy Monday, October 21st. My name is Peter Ogburn. I'm sitting in for Bill today. I've got some help all throughout the show. Clinton Yates from the Washington Post is going to be here, along with some good friends from the National Journal, Politico, Think Progress, and BuzzFeed. You're going to make sure you want to watch the entire show today. Lots of good stuff coming up. The shutdown is over, but what happens next? Mitch McConnell over the weekend said that when it comes time to another fight, the Republicans will not shut down the government. Do you believe him? I think I do. I think Republicans like Mitch McConnell, who have done this for a while and know the game, realize that they're not going to shut down the government because it's bad for them. They saw the damage that it did. Meanwhile, Healthcare.gov has had several technical difficulties. The president will be speaking today from the Rose Garden a little bit later on this afternoon. He's going to address the issues, what happened, what went wrong, how are they going to fix it. We're going to talk about that and maybe give him some ideas on how they can maybe save face a little bit on that whole issue. Meanwhile, in Virginia, Terry McAuliffe got a big endorsement and a big speaking endorsement over the weekend. Hillary Clinton showed up and spoke on his behalf in Virginia. Didn't do much for the Richmond Times-Dispatch, though, the paper in Virginia, declining to give an endorsement. They didn't want to endorse Terry McAuliffe or Ken Cuccinelli. They just decided to stay out of it. Plus, we're going to be talking to Think Progress's Travis Waldron. Big sports weekend from the college football. I mean, the top 25 were rocked over the weekend. We'll talk about some of the upsets there. Plus, NFL football weekend, exciting stuff. And, of course, if he's here, we're going to be talking about the Washington football team and whether or not they should change their name. That's all coming up. I'm Peter Ogburn in for Bill Press.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Change the world.
broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
Happy Monday, October 21st. Welcome to the Bill Press Show. Live on your radio, live on Free Speech TV, and live on TawkrTV. That's youtube.com/TawkrTV, TAWKR-TV. You really should be watching the show as well as listening to it to get the full experience. Plus, if you tune in, you'll get to see the very handsome Clinton Yates.
Thank you.
Who's in studio with us? Happy Monday, buddy.
It's good to see you.
Thanks for coming in.
Always a good time.
By the way, you're a maniac for keeping the hours that you do and then showing up as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as you do when you come in.
I'm just one of these people that enjoys life.
I mean, I do this all the time, and I'm not as excited about it as you are. I mean, I'm not used to it. I'm not comfortable with it. So.
Happy to be here. Happy to see the gang.
Thanks for coming in. Speaking of the gang, running the board is Dan Henning. Mr. Henning, hello there.
Good morning.
By the way, we can make this a fish.
Yeah?
Dan's leaving us.
I heard.
We finally caught him stealing all the office supplies, and we're getting rid of him. So congratulations on you had a good run, but it's time you left. So we're giving you like a week, and then you're gone.
I'm about to show myself out.
That's right.
Next Monday is my last day.
Dan had a wonderful opportunity that came up that was too good for him to pass up, so he's leaving.
Yeah, congrats to you, Dan.
Thank you.
Screening the calls today is Alicia Cruz. If you call 866-55-PRESS, you can talk to Alicia Cruz. Call her, and if you have any problems with anything, call her. She'll handle it. She'll sort it out. She's the fixer here on the show. And, of course, keeping us on the video is Cyprian Bolding, who is decked out in his Washington football team gear. Yes, indeed, after their big win yesterday.
Best 2-4 team in the league. I'm telling you.
They're going to be the only NFC East team that wins this week, I think.
Listen,
right.
Here's the thing.
Wait, that's not possible. Dallas played.
Yeah, Dallas.
Dallas. I'm sorry. Dallas did. Right. You're right. I forget that they're in the East because they're an East Coast team. Right?
Here's the problem, right? So they are going to Denver to play the Broncos next week.
They're like I saw an early line. I think they're like 2 touchdown underdogs.
Denver?
No.
Oh, the underdogs.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. I think 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Especially after Peyton Manning lost last night to the Colts, he's going to be mad.
Yeah, the Broncos are going to crush them.
It's going to be ugly. They might put up 70 points. They might put up Alabama numbers on them.
Yeah, no, in that game, that's a really tough game for Washington to win. I mean, anyway, we can get more into that later, but
we'll see how that pans out. We're going to be talking to Politico's Rebecca Sinderbrand here in just a little while, but the shutdown is now over. It ended last week, sort of middle of the week. But David Letterman on CBS had some comments on it.
Everyone was shut down, and honestly, I didn't care. It seemed like everything was fine. And Republicans are now whining. The Democrats are whining. They're all just a bunch of whining babies. And the Republicans are saying they got nothing out of the deal, and that's not true. The Republicans got 8 years of Hillary. So that's
why I'm much more. That's why I'm much more of a Letterman guy than a Leno guy. Is like
he makes political jokes.
He's
not afraid to go there.
And he also it's not that much of a joke when he starts out. He's just like, you're a bunch of crybabies. Yeah. They're a bunch of babies and whatever, and I don't care. He's just beat down.
He does funny stuff say Mitch Romney instead of Mitt Romney. I mean, that's just funny. That's all there is to it. It's not like it's a big deal, but it makes me laugh. So
10 minutes past the hour, we're going to be talking to Politico's Rebecca Sinderbrand in just a few moments. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
Other headlines making news on this Monday in college football. The first BCS rankings of the season came out last night, and the Alabama Crimson Tide are number 1, as announced on ESPN, nipping at the heels.
They eked out a victory, by the way, against Arkansas over the weekend. It was a squeaker. What was it, 52-0?
Yeah. Although the top 25 didn't fare all that well.
It was an ugly weekend.
Over the weekend. Number 2, BCS, Florida State, followed by Oregon in the 3 spot. Ohio State and Missouri round out the top 5. All of them are undefeated. Number 6 is Stanford. They've got 1 loss.
It's shaping up to get interesting.
I watched that Florida State-Clemson game. What is going on with Clemson? How do you get blown out by nearly 40 points at home in a conference game? That was bizarre.
Clemson's not nearly as good as people thought.
They were woefully unprepared for that game. And that's the biggest game Clemson's had in a decade.
Yeah.
If not more. It was total weak sauce effort from them.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has squashed rumors that he was getting ready to mount a constitutional challenge to allow him to run for president. There had been chatter that the Austrian-born actor and former California governor was interested in running for president, something that requires you being a natural-born citizen, but he tweeted Friday he appreciated the support but had no plans to do so.
Yeah, that's a total pipe dream.
That's not going to happen. And let me say, if that does ever happen, they change that to where you don't have to be a natural-born citizen.
Arnold is not going to be the guy getting
Arnold,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The stars came out to the Kennedy Center here in Washington last night to salute Carol Burnett, the legendary comedian and actress honored with the Mark Twain Prize for Humor at 80 years old. She's been on the big stage since the 1960s. According to USA Today, she was asked about breaking out in the male-dominated field of comedy. She said, "I always thought we'd have a happy ending. It never occurred to me to be cynical." Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were among the many celebrities who paid tribute to her on stage.
I sort of missed out on the whole Carol. I appreciate what she did, especially for women comics, but it was a little bit ahead of my time, and I can't say I've ever.
She is an American icon.
Done the legwork to see. Congratulations. Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates sitting in for Bill Press today. So it's going to shape up to be an interesting week now that the shutdown is over, and that whole circus has left town. The president today at 11:25 from the Rose Garden is going to be speaking on Healthcare.gov. That is the website that Americans were trying to use to enroll and exchange in the Affordable Care Act. We're talking to Politico's Deputy White House Editor, Rebecca Sinderbrand, on the phone. Rebecca, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
So our question that we were asking in the last hour is sort of, what can we expect the president to say today? What should we be seeing out of this?
Well, the guidance from the White House is we can expect the president to directly address, this is their words, the technical problems with Healthcare.gov, problems that he and his team find unacceptable. And so he's going to be talking about the fixes. You saw yesterday from HHS, they put out information saying we have, and this is again a quote, the best and the brightest working on a solution to the problems that have plagued this website since the very beginning. And, the audience here, it's not so much the opponents of the law, it's the supporters of the law. We saw grumbling over the weekend. We saw from and Nancy Pelosi and saying, look, the problems we're seeing right now with the website, unacceptable. We saw Dick Durbin even hinting that, look, Sebelius is going to have to testify on the Hill at some point. And so what the president's trying to do is kind of lock in these supporters who back his law, who want to see it succeed, but they know that for credibility's sake, they're going to have to come out and say something about the problems that are plaguing it.
First of all, I'd like to think that the best and the brightest are working on everything at the White House at all times.
That's right.
But I guess my question is, what does directly address even mean? I'm not sure most people, most Americans have a working understanding of what it is that makes up a website that works or doesn't work. Either you you flip the switch and the light turns on, or you flip it and it doesn't happen. I'm not sure that, is he going to break down some sort of technical aspect of this, or is he simply going to say what is going to be fixed?
He's going to talk about, according to the White House again, the actions he's pushed for to make it easier for consumers to comparison shop. Like one change we've seen already are these virtual waiting rooms are going to be eliminated. Again, not quite clear, again, for people who aren't terribly technical what those are, but they're apparently something that were causing a great deal of problems to the website. They're getting rid of. So we may see him go into a little bit of the changes that people can expect to see. And he's going to, again, talk about trying to shift the focus from the problems, even as he addresses the problems. And it's very important that he addresses the problems. That's the whole point of this, is to kind of nod to them. But again, try to shine the spotlight on the benefits. We heard finally some numbers from the White House yesterday, again, about, close to 500,000 people signing up or making the move to begin to sign up for health insurance via one of these exchanges. And so, again, the White House trying to shift the spotlight, acknowledge the problems, but shift the spotlight back to what they say is the growing success.
Yeah, I think that the whole message is going to change. You're going to talk. I imagine the president will talk a little bit. Some of the things that we saw is they're amping up the people staffing at the call centers, right? So they said that they've added 50% more people there. You mentioned the almost 500,000 people who have gotten it. So it's going to be interesting to see how positive a spin he could put on it while also owning up to the fact that it did sort of screw up a little bit.
Right. I mean, and this is coming as, look, there's a new CNN poll today. It shows, more than half the public, just a bare majority, but these are, again, would be incredible numbers for Obamacare, support the law, and then an additional number would like to see it strengthened. And so what we can probably expect to see, I'm sure, at least the president or, maybe later in the day, some of the administration officials pointing to some of these numbers and saying, look, even as the shutdown continues, that gave, the public the opportunity to kind of absorb the fact that these exchanges now exist and for support to grow. Of course, the risk now that the shutdown is over and the distraction is away is that opponents of the law will be able to turn their efforts and turn their attention to highlighting some of the problems it's had. So, the end of the shutdown is kind of this twin opportunity and huge challenge for the White House. Obamacare now has the stage all to itself, for better or for worse.
What kind of tone are you expecting from the president today?
So the tone we're expecting, he's going to be surrounded by, again, people he says who have benefited from the new law, people who've gotten insurance, small business owners, pharmacists. And so this is going to be very focused on, personal stories, people who are personally benefiting. So, even as he's nodding to these technical problems, we're going to hear him pointing to successes because this is going to be a very kind of personal. We'll hear individual stories of people who have managed to get insured thanks to the new law.
All right. Good stuff. Politico's Rebecca Sinderbrand, Deputy White House Editor. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
And thanks for having me.
All right. You can follow her on Twitter at Sinderbrand, or online at Politico.com. All right. We're going to take a quick break. My name is Peter Ogburn. He's Clinton Yates. We're going to come back and talk to you about Dick Cheney.
That guy, man.
Crazy couple of stories that we have to talk about.
What a life.
He talked to Sanjay Gupta. I mean, just some wild stuff. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Follow us on Twitter at BP Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit StopBullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
Did you take a chance?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction, America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Did you commit to change the world?
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on TawkrTV. This is the Bill Press Show.
It is the Bill Press Show. Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates sitting in for Bill today, Monday, October 21st. Remember, you can watch the show live, youtube.com/TawkrTV, TAWKR. Clinton, thank you for being here, buddy.
Glad to be here, man. Always a good time.
Clinton brought donuts again,
I did.
too, by the way.
Gotta love it.
I mean, you're easily jockeying to be like best guest ever.
Trying out here, man.
All right, so fascinating chat with Dick Cheney. I know, yes, horrible, terrible human. Blah, blah,
Darth Vader, blah,
Darth
blah,
Vader,
blah.
etc. Okay. But he sat down with Sanjay Gupta on 60 Minutes to talk about his life. He's got a book out, I guess. I'm not going to read it.
No, neither will I.
But there's some really interesting stuff that came out of this. A couple of highlights. So he talked about when he was vice president, he had a resignation letter pinned and ready to go in case he got ill because he had a bum ticker the whole time he was in office. Right.
Basically, what I did was I resigned the vice presidency effective March 28th of 2001.
So nearly for your entire time as vice president, there was a letter of resignation sitting there, pending.
Cheney discovered there was no provision in the Constitution to replace a vice president who was alive but incapacitated. So he drew up a letter of resignation to give to the president.
It says, in accordance with Section 20 of Title III of the United States Code, I, Richard B. Cheney, hereby resign the office of Vice President of the United States.
How did President Bush react when you told him about this?
He was a little surprised, but he thought it was a good idea.
The buried lead there is that there is no provision to replace an alive but incapacitated vice president in this country.
Yeah,
that is a
right?
shocker to me. I definitely didn't know that until I heard that.
I mean, what happens there? I mean, what do? You can't hold an election for a vice president.
No, that's a very weird scenario.
Isn't it like...
I thought you would just appoint a new one. I would assume.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know what happens when you assume, Dan.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not some Constitution expert, but
right.
I mean, I'm sure somebody could tell us. I mean, that's weird.
Yeah. So he just had to have this letter just sort of hanging out there. And, that's crazy. But, this next thing, this about sort of... Because, like I said, he had a bum ticker. Why did he have such a bad heart?
He had his first cigarette at age 12. And by the time he was President Ford's chief of staff at age 34... his daily staples included fatty food, beer, and up to 3 packs a day.
And all the cigarette companies donated cigarettes in a white box with a gold trim around it, embossed with a presidential seal. That was kind of if you were a cocktail party or meeting in Washington and you whipped out your presidential cigarettes and lit it up with a pack of matches from Air Force One, sort of a status symbol.
What?
Pretty baller.
Like, I don't even smoke, and I want to start smoking because of that. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, 3 packs a day? That is a serious amount of
What is he,
intake.
waiting for results?
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord.
I don't even know.
That's how you get 5 heart attacks.
I mean, how do you get anything done during the day if you're smoking 3 packs? That's 60 cigarettes.
Yeah, you're smoking cigarettes.
That's a lot of smokes, man.
From start to finish
Wow.
every day. And by the way, 12 years old is when he started smoking. Like, don't you just love, like, I just have this image of, like, 12-year-old Dick Cheney, like, playing craps at Binions. Like, yeah, let it ride.
Exactly, yeah. Now he turns into the guy he is. I mean, that just sounds like a lifestyle that is obviously completely unsustainable.
You can't keep that
on every level.
You cannot keep that up. You cannot keep that up. So he had a pacemaker put in, and he was so freaked out because I don't know that much about pacemakers, but it has like a wireless function so that they can sort of do a little, maintenance on it or whatever without having to crack you back open again.
Open you up every time, yeah.
So you've seen the show Homeland, and there was a whole, I don't want to spoil anything, but this is a couple seasons ago or last season, so if you haven't seen it by now, shame on you. But there's a plot to kill the vice president because he has a pacemaker, and so the terrorists hack into his pacemaker. Sanjay Gupta talked to the physician about the pacemaker.
In 2007, when Cheney needed his implanted defibrillator replaced, Dr. Reiner ordered the manufacturer to disable the wireless feature, fearing a terrorist could assassinate the vice president by sending a signal to the device telling it to shock his heart into cardiac arrest.
And it seemed to me to be a bad idea for the Vice President of the United States to have a device that maybe somebody on a rope line or someone in the next hotel room or downstairs might be able to get into, hack into, and I worried that someone could kill you.
That's terrifying. That's a doctor talking, by the way. That's not just a conspiracy nut.
I totally agree. I mean, that's the kind of thing where you think about, like, I mean, this is the whole point here, is that this was a guy with a bad heart for health reasons, and he's worried about people trying to kill him via his heart. I mean, he was a serious liability in the office. I don't know, man. I feel like at some point he probably thought to himself, this might not have been a gig I should have taken because it's just too stressful, to deal with the day-to-day stuff. I mean, that like you said, that is terrifying to think about. Hacking into somebody's heart? Oh, that gives me the willies. Just thinking about
But the other thing is, when I was watching this whole thing play out on Homeland, I was thinking, like, that's garbage. You can't do that. But that's a doctor.
That's Sanjay Gupta. People talked about him being the surgeon. People talked about him being the Surgeon General at one point.
Yeah. That's terrifying. All right. So, look, if you're going to get a pacemaker and you're an important person, maybe put that some malware on it, okay?
LifeLock.
LifeLock that pacemaker. You know what I'm talking about? Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates sitting in for Bill Press. Be right back talking sports with Travis Waldron.
This is the Bill Press Show.
So this is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. When I say dot, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You know, I followed your character since the first episode. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Thank you.
And listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is very adult content. Too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
It is The Bill Press Show. Thank you so much for watching, listening, however you're getting a hold of us today, either on the radio or on Free Speech TV or on TawkrTV online. That's youtube.com/Talker, TawkrTV. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. My name is Peter Ogburn.
I'm Clinton Yates.
And we are sitting in for Bill today. So crazy sports weekend, all kinds of stuff. So we had to bring in our good friend, Think Progress sports blogger, Travis Waldron. You may remember Travis was in last week or the week before during the middle of the rainstorm and came in a little wet. You're a little drier today.
A little bit better.
Yeah, the weather's not quite so bad, so thank you for coming back in.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, so much stuff to talk about. I don't really know where to begin. Let's start with the World Series, I guess. We've got our matchup.
Yeah, it's a little, you know, I haven't decided yet how I feel about it.
Yeah,
on one hand, it's the two best teams, which is good.
Yeah.
On the other, it's Boston and St. Louis. Like, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
And you know,
I think we can all agree that St. Louis baseball fans are the worst, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they're terrible.
The level of sanctimony about how to do things the right way is so annoyingly off the charts. It makes you not want to root for the team. I mean, you know, even though they've got some good ball players. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that squad, but they're fans. I mean, it's the worst.
My problem with St. Louis fans is, and not all of them, obviously.
Sure.
But like as a group with Boston and Yankees
just all the ones
fans,
that are old enough to walk.
with Red Sox and Yankees fans, you know, they know that people hate them and they don't really seem to care.
Yeah.
And with St. Louis fans, it's like, love us, please.
Yeah.
And it's just like, stop.
Yeah,
like,
it seems a bit phony on a certain level to me, too.
And then Joe Buck doesn't help either.
Dude, don't get me started on Joe Buck.
Yeah, well, this guy.
I got such a problem with Joe Buck. I can't stand him. But like, it's tough to put me in. Like, I mean, Nationals fans, right? I mean, they're not going to root for the Cards. I mean, there's still a lot of broken hearts.
That ain't happening.
There's still a lot of broken hearts.
On that one, as a Nats fan, you for sure are not rooting for the Cards.
Yeah, no way. So it's like you said. I mean, Red Sox fan knows that most people are rooting against him. Why is that?
Well, I think the Red Sox, you know, up until 2004, they were like the lovable team. And then after 2004, they kind of became the Yankees. And it's like, okay, you spend all the money. And, you know, it is kind of funny that this Boston team has somehow taken on like the lovable underdog type thing for themselves because they were so bad last year.
Mm-hmm.
But you look and they still have Dustin Pedroia and David Ortiz and John Lester. Like, there are a lot of really good baseball players on this team. It's not like it's just a patchwork team here, like Oakland or something like that.
Yeah, they got Shane Victorino as well, who's out there hitting bombs in late innings. I mean, that was insane. That was one of the. This week has been nuts for that team.
Yeah,
right. I think I love Jim Leland, so I don't want to dog him too much, but the way he used the bullpen in that series was befuddling to me. Drew Smiley is one of their best relief pitchers, and they essentially turned him into a matchup guy. And I don't get it. He's, I'm not a baseball coach, so it's, far from me to just throw bombs at these guys. But the way Detroit wasted their pitching in this series is just to start out the first 3 games without giving up a hit in the first 5 innings,
right?
And to be down 2-1. It's on the pitchers, the bullpen pitchers. It's on the hitters. They didn't hit early in the series, but Detroit has. I don't know how they didn't come out of that series.
Yeah, I thought for sure they
played better baseball.
They played better baseball, but I mean, Prince Fielder did not have a good series either.
No.
Can we talk? Can we talk about that squeeze play with Prince Fielder? If you haven't seen it, Dude, first of all, if you're not sure who Prince Fielder is, he big.
Yeah,
he's a big
Cecil Fielder's son.
He's a big. I half expect him to come out and run the bases in a rascal next season. Like he looks. I mean, Cecil Fielder wasn't a skinny guy, but he looks like Cecil Fielder, and that's been stung by thousands of bees. He's had an allergic reaction. He's gigantic.
He's a large man,
and he got stuck in a squeeze play between third and home, and. I mean, how do you even describe it? He just sort of got stuck
flopped.
and just flopped.
And just
nowhere close to a base,
It's like he thought he was closer to third.
Yeah.
And then wasn't actually anywhere near third.
Or there was like a blanket he could dive under and nobody would be able to see him. It's like, okay, I'm not here anymore, like when you're a little kid.
The picture of him just like full Superman out.
He doesn't get that far off the ground. No. He just sort of like hovers for his... Anyway.
But that's the thing about...
He didn't deliver.
Right.
He did not deliver.
Detroit just made mistakes at every key point.
Yeah.
And, it just... Whether it was base running, because there was one game, I think game 5.
There was a situation with Miggy in the game before where they sent him on a hard hit ball to left field. He's already got a hip problem. There's no way he's
and he was at third base when they fielded the ball.
And he gets thrown out by 15 feet. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and they had 2 guys picked off during the series. I think it was just and I love that Detroit team. I think they're a very good team, and they just didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to see Verlander in Game 7, so I was bummed when Victorino hit the home run. Actually, I was rooting for a Game 7, even though I was with a bunch of Boston fans who clearly did not want to see
Game 7.
Verlander in Game 7.
It's exciting, but it could hurt. So we've got the World Series matchup. Any predictions? We'll go around the room really quickly.
Oof. Honestly, I think the Cards are going to win.
Me too.
Yeah.
How many games?
I'll take 6.
6.
I would say 6 as well.
Dan, you want to chime in on this?
Red Sox in 5.
Okay.
Wow.
The correct answer is the Cardinals will win in 6 games. So
consensus.
I feel that. I was going to say that before you guys put. I want to see the Red Sox win, but boy, the Cardinals just a strong.
Yeah,
team.
I mean they got those crazy beards. I mean there's a story there. They got that storyline working. I think a lot of America will be rooting for them.
Yeah. And from a baseball standpoint, I wouldn't mind seeing either of them win. They
both
play good baseball. They're both they had great seasons. Yeah. It's not like that Cardinals team that won 84 games or whatever.
Right.
Won the World Series.
Right.
It's like that's kind of like I don't want to see you win.
Yeah, that's a good point. So let's talk a little college football because it was a wild weekend. I mean, a lot of upsets in the top 25. I can't even list them all. Clemson, South Carolina, LSU, Georgia. Yeah. I mean, first of all, it was a close game for the number 1 seed, Alabama. They played Arkansas. It was 52-0.
Can I just point out while I'm here?
Okay, go ahead.
That even though Kentucky lost 48-7 to Alabama last weekend,
I wanted to bring that up because we mentioned that.
They are now the only team with a passing touchdown against Alabama, other than Texas A&M.
Another team that lost this weekend.
Right. I just want to point that out. There's small victories when you're a Kentucky football fan.
Wow,
and that's one of them.
I'll let you have that.
Okay,
I'll let you have that. How is this shaping up, and how does this weekend sort of mess with? Because we got the BCS standings out. I mean, how's this going to play out?
Well, I think right now it looks like Alabama and either Oregon or Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State looked
sick. Louisville losing kind of cut out a lot of the, will Louisville go undefeated and not get a chance debate. That was an ugly loss that they had. The one to watch is Missouri.
Yeah.
Like, what did...
That team came out of nowhere.
Where did they come from?
I was
Yeah.
talking to a guy who went to Missouri, and he said he thinks that team has 4 legit NFL prospects as their entire whiteout core. Like,
Right. Wow.
that's pretty much the deal with them. They got some serious offensive weapons, and the defense is pretty good too.
Right, and their schedule gets a little bit tougher toward the end. I mean, they still have to play Kentucky. But
Wait, by the way, I don't know if you heard. They got a passing touchdown against
This
number 1
just
team in the
in.
country.
No, they.
Not very sure if you knew that.
So their schedule does get a little bit tougher toward the end. But Mizzou was unranked like a month ago and is now in the top 5. I think.
Yeah,
they were
number 5. They're number 5. They're number 5.
And it's just like that. You know, the SEC East seems like theirs to lose. They have a 2-game lead.
Yeah,
and obviously then they'll have to go play Alabama most likely in the championship game, but. It's unreal. Yeah, I don't think anybody saw this when Texas A&M and Missouri joined the SEC.
That Missouri would be the first team that was really of any impact.
A&M would beat Alabama last year in their first trip to Tuscaloosa, and now Missouri is leading the SEC East over all of these like blue bloods of the SEC East.
Texas A&M now has 2 losses on the season. They dropped to 16. Right. Auburn moved up to 11.
Another surprise.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. Right. I mean, they were terrible.
They were the worst team in college football last year, just about. I mean, they were horrible. The other sort of wild card in here, I think, is Ohio State.
Right. I think
which
so
they're
too.
number 4. And they look like a strong team.
I'm not as sold on Ohio State as I am on Florida State.
Yeah.
As
I agree.
As the third.
I agree.
I think right now it's Alabama and Oregon. And what Florida State has done to their 2 ranked opponents.
I mean, we were talking about that earlier. I mean, if you're Clemson, what are you doing? How do you get dump trucked at home? Like, that game was a non-game. They got completely obliterated. They're still at number 9 in the BCS, which I think is absurd on a certain level.
They were too high to begin with.
Yeah,
they didn't belong at number 3.
I didn't understand that. But to your point, I mean, Florida State looked like a really good football team.
Right.
It wasn't just a matter of somebody not showing up. I mean, that squad is good. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I think Florida State is. I would like an Alabama-Florida State title game.
Me too.
I would like an Alabama-Oregon title game.
I actually like to see that more.
Yeah, I mean, I think seeing
So we
Marcus
can shut the
Mariota
Oregon
going
fans
against
up.
Oregon's
Yeah,
defense or against Alabama's defense would be great. But also seeing Jameis Winston go against Alabama's defense would be pretty awesome.
No, I would love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that as an Alabama fan. All right, there's more to talk about from the world of college football, and this is a fascinating story. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about it. Grambling. I don't know if you've heard this. My eyes just got open to it over the weekend, and it's fascinating. Travis Waldron, Think Progress sports blogger, Clinton Yates, and I'm Peter Ogburn sitting in for Bill today. Quick break. We'll be right back.
Like politics? Then like The Bill Press Show on Facebook. This is The Bill Press Show.
So this is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. Racing done. I want you to just push the battery.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You know, I followed your character since the first episode. I'm a big fan. Big fan. Thank you. And listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is very adult content. Too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. My name is Peter Ogburn with Clinton Yates. Today we're talking to Travis Waldron, Think Progress sports blogger. You can find more from him online at thinkprogress.org. And you can also follow him on Twitter at Travis_Waldron, WALDRON. Travis, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So a story that I heard about over the weekend for the first time is the story of Grambling's football team. Fascinating story. Tell us about it.
Well, so the Grambling football team, it's kind of in the context of all of these different protests that have been going on.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the All Players United stuff, which this is not affiliated with that I'm aware of. But so they had some problems with the way they were being treated by administration and by the athletic department. And the backstory to all of this is a lot of it was caused in part by state budget cuts. They had some issues with their travel. They were taking buses on long road trips.
Yeah.
I think one to Missouri.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Grambling is in Louisiana, so that's not a short trip. And they had
I saw pictures of their practice pads were molded.
Right. They had some molding issues on their pads. Their locker room was out of date. I think there was some. Yeah. They found this weekend, I think, some traces of staph infection in the locker room, or the possibility of it, and so which is
having to buy their own sports drinks and things like that.
They were rationing sports drinks to the guys who looked like they needed.
It's
them
an
most.
unsafe situation,
right?
Is what it is.
And
really
it's
bad.
and when you. So the two contexts here: one, you have the state cutting all of this money from higher education, and Grambling losing money because of that, and having to make decisions on where to put funding. And the other is you have the NCAA, and this is, about educating athletes, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's, they're students first and athletes second, except how can you be, I don't understand how you could possibly be expected to perform in school or whatever when you have this to worry about when you show up to practice or to games, and you have to sit on a bus all day Thursday and Friday to get to your games, and then you have to sit on a bus all day Sunday and Monday to get home. It's like, okay.
It's really messed up.
Yeah.
It's really messed up. So some of the players are sitting out. They're
all are.
They're protesting. They're saying we're not going to do it.
Grambling is a storied program.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, as far as historically black schools go, it's Grambling
Right.
and it's everybody else, and that's
Eddie Robinson.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the all-time winningest at any level anymore.
He's not.
But
That's John McKissick from Summerville High School.
Yeah. But he's still
That's
up there
fact.
close.
That's a fact.
I heard that somewhere.
But he's still one of the winningest football coaches of all time.
Yeah.
Grambling is not just HBCU football, but small college football,
Right.
smaller D1 school football. This is a big time program.
I'm anxious to see how that plays out, and it's a sad story about how these schools are treating their
They're
athletes.
supposed to return to practice today. They're actually holding a practice today. No one's really sure if anyone's going to show up.
How that's going to go, yeah.
So
another story, Travis, great story here about an ugly story. Adrian Peterson, running back for the Vikings, who had an amazing season last year, just the story of the NFL last year. He had a 2-year-old son. He's no longer with the mother, and the boyfriend of the boy's mother beat the child to death, a 2-year-old son. And you pick it up from there. I mean, what was the issue that people were having with Adrian Peterson here?
Well, at first it was your typical tragedy. You know, everybody was questioning how this happened, why it happened, feeling bad for Adrian Peterson, and you know, the only criticism was really that he played, which I thought was misplaced as well. You know, who cares? That's his decision.
Yeah.
And then from there, you know, TMZ did their thing and found that there were some more kids by more women, and it kind of just developed into this let's all bash Adrian Peterson story as absentee father. And, you know, it just kind of, there were 3 columns that I found. There were probably more, but one in the Baltimore Sun, one was Phil Mushnick from the New York Post, and the other was Don Lemon from CNN. And just kind of people asking, where is the outrage about Adrian Peterson? And it was just kind of, to me, was, you know, we don't know Adrian Peterson. And you know, as I wrote in my piece, I certainly hope he's there for all of these kids. I hope he's there financially, emotionally, physically, as a father, but you know, we don't know the specifics of his situation.
Right.
And that was what struck me was in Mushnick's column, you know, he criticizes the media for saying, you don't know Adrian Peterson and you've cast him as this great guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so you don't know Adrian Peterson.
That logic falls apart immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you're casting him as a total loser.
Right. Yeah. I just want to say personally, I commend you for writing that, because so often so many black men in this country are vilified for things, and people don't realize that those sort of stereotyping, if you just sort of accept those things as those stereotypes as reasonable, that's part of the problem of why things continue to stay so, you know, there's so much inequality in terms of the way racism works in this country. And I just want to say that was a very good way of indicating how, hey, look, it's not about this. Some guy beat a kid to death.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What is going on in
Why
this
aren't we
country
talking about
where
that?
happens,
Right.
as opposed to whom and who he does not sleep with? You know, it's
right.
ridiculous.
Well, and the thing is like, take out the other 4 or the other 6, however many it is, and this kid could have still been in a single parent home.
Yeah.
You know, it could have still worked this way.
Right.
You know, like single parent homes are not a bad thing necessarily. They're something that happens. You know, my parents were divorced. I grew up in a split family, and there are stats that show that, you know, yes, abuse is higher in those types of homes, but it still could have happened absent the whole other situation.
Yeah.
And the point is like, we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, even if Adrian Peterson had been a perfect father and not been with this woman, you know, this kid could have still ended up in the hands of the man who beat him to death.
Right.
And there's just so many moving parts to all of these situations. And, you know, I guess what I'd like is for people to figure out a little smarter way to have that discussion. I mean, I think there's a discussion to have about fatherhood and things like that, but through this lens, it just never gets discussed in a manner that's productive.
Strong stuff. Travis Waldron, Think Progress sports blogger. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates sitting in for Bill. Quick break. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Good morning and welcome to the Bill Press Show. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, the third hour of the show is live exclusive on TawkrTV. Go to youtube.com/TawkrTV, TAWKR. You should know how to spell Talker by now, TawkrTV. We got a big hour coming up in the final hour of the program. BuzzFeed's Kate Nocera joins me and the Washington Post's Clinton Yates. Lots to talk about. Give us a call, 866-55-PRESS, and watch us on TawkrTV.
get up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
This is the Bill Press Show.
It is the Bill Press Show. Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates sitting in for Bill Press today. Very short on time here, so we're just going to bang through the White House press schedule for the president today. What is he up to? Well, the biggest thing on the schedule is at 11:25. The president will deliver remarks on the Affordable Care Act. He will address the glitches that have been happening on the Healthcare.gov. He will talk about how they're going to fix it, and he will be joined by consumers, small business owners, and pharmacists who have already benefited from the healthcare law. So they're going to change it from the negative talk on why the website doesn't work to the positive talk of what good it's done for other people. Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates sitting in for Bill Press. Quick break. We'll be back for one more hour.
This is the Bill Press Show. Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
Good morning, good Monday morning, October. Wow, it's almost the end of October already.
Yeah, man.
What? I came outside this morning and I was like, man, it's unseasonably cold. No, it's not.
It's seasonably cold.
It's seasonably cold. Like it's almost November.
Yeah.
Jeez. Hi, it's the Bill Press Show. I'm Peter Ogburn.
I'm Clinton Yates.
We're sitting in for Bill today. And boy, just so much stuff to talk about. It's a hard time figuring out what we're going to talk about where. We are streaming video live right now, youtube.com/TawkrTV, TawkrTV. Go check that out. If you're not sure exactly where to find it, you could also go find us on Twitter at BP Show, We've tweeted the link out right there if you want to check that out. Go find it. I'm tweeting at Peter Ogburn, OGBURN, at Peter Ogburn. Clinton Yates is tweeting at Clinton Yates.
That's me.
YATES. A must follow. For just reasons beyond this show, you should go follow Clinton Yates. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Well, running the board today is Dan Henning. Mr. Henning,
Good
the
morning.
short timer. He's on his way out the door.
Here I am.
He's taking another position at. I didn't catch exactly where he was going, but I will say this: they're giving him a whole new set of mops to work with, and it's
brand new shiny yellow bucket,
brand new bucket, and everything. It's very exciting.
New work gloves.
I'm very
as well.
excited. Yeah, work gloves and everything.
I'm excited.
Screening your calls. If you call 866-55-PRESS, you will be lucky enough to talk to Alicia Cruz, who is there manning the phone lines, and on the videos. Cyprian Bolding, keeping us on camera, looking as good as we can. I have to say, if I look a little ragged, it's because I went to Snallygaster over the weekend.
Yes.
So Friday we had Greg Engert from the neighborhood restaurant group, the beer director. He came in and gave us some beers to try and was promoting Snallygaster, which is a giant beer festival that happened here in D.C. on Saturday.
Okay.
Like 200 draft beers.
Wow.
Right. And
did you get Snallygastered?
Let me say this. I get it when people complain about, marriage and blah, blah, blah. I brought my wife with me, which is the great thing about being married. Dan, you're newly married. Mm-hmm. Built-in designated driver.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Absolutely.
It's the best.
Yep.
It's
amazing.
So you tied one on, as they say.
I got Snallygaster,
right,
as Dan put it. But here's the deal. There are so many different beers.
Got to try them all.
You got to try as many as you can anyway. Right. I'll say this. There was a woman there. My wife walked over to go and get, because they had food there too, so she was not really drinking. She was eating, so she went and got some food. And there was this woman that just walked up and just had that classic drunkie, woo! High five up, woo! So, I gave her a high five. I'm like, yeah, hey, all right, how's it going? So my wife walks back over, and this woman is like, so here's all the beers that I've already had to drink.
She's got a scorecard.
She was on number 17.
Wow.
She was on number 17, and she's like, I'm trying to figure out where to go next.
Home. That's exactly. That's where you need to go. Right.
Yes,
exactly.
Please go to sleep. But it was a great event. It was a super cool event. I'm glad that we got hooked up with them because they gave us some good beers. We tried the maple beer on Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first ones gone, man. Everybody lined up to get it.
Nice.
I don't even get any more of it. So
beer.
It was good stuff.
Proof that God loves us.
Exactly. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. It was a good time. So we got a big show coming up. Kate Nocera from BuzzFeed will be joining us in studio as she just tweeted.
Yeah,
stumbling out of bed to go talk with Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates. Yeah. She
Oh, that's pleasant.
Well, she always knows what she's talking about. I'm just saying, stumbling out of bed at 8 o'clock in the morning. God, that sounds like a dream.
Must be nice.
She works late hours.
She does. And she's not going to spring out of bed for you. So
I bet she will. We'll find out at 8:30. You know what I'm talking about? 10 minutes past the hour. Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates. We're going to be talking about not only the news with Kate Nocera, but we're also going to be talking about a fascinating story out of Florida.
Unreal.
Wait until you hear about this. We're going to talk about it. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
Other headlines making news on this Monday in sports. The Kansas City Chiefs remain the NFL's only undefeated team. They improved to 7-0 with a 1-point win over Houston yesterday. At the other end, the Jacksonville Jaguars fell to 0-7 with a loss to San Diego. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers dropped to 0-6. With a loss to Atlanta, the 0-6 New York Giants face the 1-4 Minnesota Vikings tonight.
Wow, what an exciting Monday Night Football matchup.
When they scheduled this, a year ago, on paper, it looked like an incredible Monday Night Football game. Guess what?
Dude, I mean, how bad are the Giants going to win tonight?
There's a chance that they could actually win tonight. I have said the Giants are going at best 3-13 on the year.
Wow.
And tonight,
big Giants fan.
Tonight is one of the 3 potential games that I think that they have a inkling of a chance of winning the way that they're playing right now.
Don't you kind of hope, though, that maybe they just go all the way without a win?
Like full Monty?
Yeah, like at some point just commit, right?
I do, but it's...
Isn't there a party that's just like, let's just go winless?
Yeah.
I want to say props to Andy Reid, though. I mean, because... For him to have that Chiefs team turned around and have that franchise doing something after everything that happened with his family and having to leave Philadelphia and all that, I mean, just as a person, I'm happy to see that team doing well.
Absolutely. And their quarterback, Alex, I mean, I'm not saying that the Niners did him dirty or anything, but it was not a good situation for him, and he was delivering.
Yeah.
And now he's crushing it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the Chiefs.
Oprah Winfrey is getting rid of a lot of stuff to make way for a major...
I've been a Chiefs fan since Christian Okoye back in the day, man. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
It's all right. Oprah Winfrey is getting rid of a lot of stuff to make way for a major renovation on one of her homes. She's redoing her 23,000 square foot house in Santa Barbara, California. Therefore, she's having what she calls a yard sale. It's actually an auction of about 300 items out of her house, ranging in price from $100 to $50,000. NBC reports it'll happen week after next in California, but she's not keeping a dime of the money that comes in from the yard sale. She will donate it all to charity.
Can you imagine if she did this, walked around her neighborhood and did handwritten signs like a normal yard sale,
right?
and people just walked up and found things on her lawn? That would be so cool. People would probably tear down the signs and keep those.
I'd love to know what she's selling at that yard sale.
Like antique chairs that are worth $10,000 a pop, and artwork and couches and
you
rugs.
Get an ottoman, and you get some used books, and you get some old DVDs, and you get a CD.
Who shows up to that auction? I mean, I just feel like Oprah is obviously a huge star, and her success as a media giant is unrivaled to an extent. But does she still have the kind of fans that would show up to buy her stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Clinton, the answer is
wow.
Yes.
I mean, they're not as big as they were, but she's got the fan base. All right. 13 minutes past the hour. So Clinton and I have been sort of marveling over this story in Florida. And you've probably seen this about the inmates that escaped from prison in Florida. How the hell did they do this?
This blew my mind when I first read about it. I saw it and it said 2 inmates escaped with forged documents. And I'm like, is this 1975?
Right.
What? How is this how the Florida penal system works? You can hand some guy a get out of jail free card from a Monopoly table, and all of a sudden he honors it, and you're out.
Like I was waiting to hear the part of the story where they carved a gun out of soap or something.
I mean,
it's shoe polish.
Unbelievable. And when you get into the details of the story, you still have to think to yourself, I can't believe, honestly, that they didn't blow their own cover because the plot was so ridiculous.
Insane.
How if somebody's letting you out of jail on a fake document, you've got to laugh at some point because you've gotten away with it. It's unreal. Yeah,
Chief Wiggum apparently was in charge of this investigation. They forged these documents that they're supposed to serve X amount of years, but they changed it to say the sentence has been reduced to 15 years so they can get out. So I could just see, Wiggum, seems legit here, boys. You're free to leave.
I mean, it's truly mind-boggling when you think about it. I mean, either the person they had that helped them on the inside is somebody of extreme importance, or the amount of lack of oversight there is just staggering on many levels.
Well, this is so the officials have taking a look at this, and they said we're not done.
Yeah.
By the way, there's some splaining to do.
Clearly,
in this case, where the hell do these come from? So there's a whole investigation that's going to be going on. But again, you want to break out of prison, impress me. Yeah. Give me some Shawshank Redemption stuff, okay?
To be fair, this is pretty impressive as it worked.
Right. Why did it work? I don't know how it worked.
I just can't believe that. That's got to be one of the more embarrassing incidents for the corrections unit or whatever that facility was. I just can't imagine how you wake up and you look at yourself and say, we just let 2 convicted killers walk out of the door with a signed note that wasn't even real. and they're not even really taking responsibility. There's sort of some strange kind of goings on there that I don't really understand. But I just, to me, this is, and it's also more specifically frightening if you live in Florida to think that this is how legitimately people who are legitimately in jail are walking the streets based on these kind of things. A
couple of key things that I'm reading about this LA Times story, by the way, which is really, really good. So they were both serving life in prison for murder. I mean, they're murderers. They're killers. They managed to secure fake documents complete with their case numbers and a judge's forged signature, officials say. They were released from prison. The fake documents said that each sentence had been given, or that had been reduced to 15 years. And so when they were released, they had to notify the victims' families, like, hey,
because that's how it works.
Yeah, like these guys are out now. And they go, no, I don't think that's right. But one of the key pieces of evidence in this investigation as they're going to start looking through it is, so these prisoners have these canteen accounts, right? So you could keep money in it. You could buy things like razors,
you could transfer stuff.
Yeah. So there were deposits made into their canteen accounts in prison. So they have to figure out, like, what's up with that?
Who did that?
Yeah, who did that? Because they took that money and then did
and then bought their stuff.
It's amazing.
Another detail here is that when they were found, they were in a motel next to a place called Big Willie's Swimwear, which, if you're writing the movie, make sure you keep that place in the storyline.
Crucial detail.
That name is tremendous.
Crucial detail. I'm sorry, were they found in Ocean City?
Yeah, exactly. Big Willie's Swimwear.
Big Willie's Swimwear. Yeah, sure. Why not?
That sounds like exactly the kind of place where you'd buy swimwear. Go to Big Willie's. Hey, check it out.
Sweetie, we need to go to Big Willie's. I need to get a swimsuit.
Wow.
Okay. All right, it's 18 minutes past the hour. Fascinating story. I had to get that out there. We're going to take a quick break. Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates sitting in for Bill. Lots more to talk about, including the big talk from the president today. He's going to be talking from the Rose Garden about the Healthcare.gov website, what it means, what we're going to see. Stay tuned. It's the Bill Press Show. We'll be right back.
Follow us on Twitter @BP Show. This is the Bill Press Show. streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
It is The Bill Press Show. Peter Ogburn.
I'm Clinton Yates.
We're sitting in for Bill today. Thank you all for tuning in, however you're tuning in, either on the radio or on the TuneIn app, the iHeartRadio app, the TawkrTV, youtube.com/TawkrTV, TAWKR. By the way, Dan, we got an epic pitch on Friday. I guess they heard that. I guess they heard that Bill was out or something.
So we get pitches all the time.
Sure.
Oh, I want to be on your show. Want to talk about yada yada.
Like
yada.
I got one today. What if JFK had survived?
Right.
Well, he didn't. So how the hell would we know what? Yeah, that's a dumb pitch.
Got a pitch from a booking company in Hollywood asking for P. Diddy to come on our show.
The venerable
yes,
P. Diddy.
Sean Combs.
We said yes, right?
Yes, we said yes.
Of course.
We would love to have him because he is a fascinating celebrity.
He's the man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would absolutely have it. So is he coming in?
So he's still working on the details, hopefully this week. But he's launching a new TV network, and he wants to talk about it. And I'm like, sure, you come on.
Listen, I'll make my appeal directly to the camera. Puffy, P. Diddy, Diddy. It's just Diddy now, right? Isn't it just Diddy now?
Is it Diddy or is it Sean Combs?
I think in this scenario, I'd go with Sean Combs.
Mr. Combs. If you're watching, you're welcome to come on. Phone, in studio, however you want to work it, you're welcome here. Right? Like,
yeah.
We'll roll out the welcome mat for Sean Combs.
In all seriousness,
Sure.
if I'm here and we're interviewing Sean Combs, that'll be easily one of the best moments of my career.
Yeah.
That's not a joke.
Let's do it. Let's give him the Clinton Yates endorsement.
All right.
Make sure he knows.
I'll do that. It'll sell it.
Hey, so I don't know if you heard, Mike Myers says, yeah, baby. He and his wife are pregnant. They're having a baby. Now, what I just did,
what he did there?
What I just did is a hackneyed, tired, old bit that anybody that's been doing TV or radio would absolutely hate, right? Like, it's just the obvious low-hanging fruit.
You can that you can see coming a mile away.
A mile away.
Right.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Don't tell that to all of these anchors. Conan O'Brien on his show went around. Mike Myers and his wife are having their second child, and these local TV news anchors all had the same exact reaction.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby. Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says,
okay, that's
yeah, baby.
that's
Mike
where
Myers says,
it's
yeah,
funny.
baby. Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Just goes
Mike
on and on.
Myers
Keeps going. Never
Just
ends.
keeps going on and on and on.
Two things about that.
Yeah.
First of all, you could really tell the people that were really into it, like for real,
Yeah.
like genuinely.
They thought this was a great idea.
Yeah, and they thought that they
I
do
have the best joke.
Exactly, and I do the best Austin Powers. And it reminds you back to the time when people really did do that and imitated that movie to no end, and it was never funny. Like, the movie is funny.
Even when it was big, it wasn't
but
funny.
when it was big, I hated that guy that was always going around making some Austin Powers singer.
baby.
It's the worst. You know?
The worst. The worst. And the fact that these people held on to that for
it's like, what is going on in your comedy life where you're still that impressed by Austin Powers? It's unbelievable.
They're sitting around the table and they're like pre-show meeting.
Yeah.
They're like, folks, I have something I'd like to contribute to the script.
What if we did this?
Have you seen the movie Austin Powers? What if I was to come out and when we deliver the news, I say, Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Have you seen the movie? Wait, no, it comes from the movie. It's a line from the movie.
15 years ago,
Comedy
called.
is best explained, I found out.
Exactly.
15 years ago, called. They want their joke back.
Yeah.
And the
big
fact
time.
that
Their
everybody
bad
did
joke
it.
back.
Yeah, it wasn't funny
Their
then.
joke that sucked then.
It sure as hell isn't funny now.
Oh, man.
All right.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you. All right. We're talking to Kate Nocera from BuzzFeed in just a few moments, but quick story. So over the weekend, Hillary Rodham Clinton, former Secretary of State, was out on the trail stumping for Terry McAuliffe here just outside of Washington, D.C., Falls Church, Virginia.
Yep.
It's a big get for him. It's good that she showed up. That it was more about Hillary than it was for him.
Huge get for him, actually.
I think. And most polls these days shows that he is on his way to winning the governor's seat there in the state of Virginia. However, the Richmond Times-Dispatch the paper of record there, they said, we don't like anybody. We are not going to endorse Cuccinelli or McAuliffe or there's another guy. I don't even know his name.
Yeah, there's a libertarian candidate.
I mean, that's sort of a blow.
That is bad news for the Commonwealth. I mean, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, just, again, as a resident, that is, I just don't understand how you can look forward to the future of the state.
Yeah.
Considering that the leadership at the top is obviously so, I don't know, looked at so poorly.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Virginia is the state of presidents. Presidents come from Virginia. And you look at the two people running for governor and the fact that the people of Virginia are like,
nobody wants to touch them.
Not so much. All right, Kate Nocera from BuzzFeed joins us in studio next. Stay tuned.
This is the Bill Press Show. streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
It is The Bill Press Show. My name is Peter Ogburn.
I'm Clinton Yates.
We are sitting in for Bill today, Monday, October 21st. Thank you all for tuning in, watching, listening. Of course, when I'm filling in, I like to bring in people who like to talk about the news. BuzzFeed's Kate Nocera joins us here in studio. Kate dragging herself out of bed, as you tweeted.
That's exactly what happened.
Considering what would you wake up at,
like 7. I woke up at 7.
Totally respectable.
I think it was. I mean, I do this show just because I live like 4 blocks away and it's easy.
We have a whole group now of people who live within walking distance or stumbling distance.
Exactly.
Of the studio.
Yeah.
What should we call that?
You had a name last time she was here, but I forgot.
Did we?
There was a group. There was a name for this collective, but I can't remember.
Friends
what it was.
right here on the hill. Froth.
There you go.
Wow,
Peter.
that was pretty quick.
That's terrible. This is a terrible name. Let's never.
I'll get the t-shirts
the
done.
First thing I thought of, and it's the worst idea ever.
With the t-shirts tomorrow. That'll be great.
Don't. All right. So the big news that we've been talking about earlier in the day, and I want to get back to it. So this CNN poll says that 54% of Americans say that it's a bad thing that the GOP controls the House of Representatives. That's up 11 points from last December. So they've done this poll several times, and this is the first time that it's been this bad for Republicans.
Right.
I would imagine that has a lot to do with the shutdown.
Yes.
I'm a journalist, guys. Yeah, I can pick up on cues.
A team of monkeys working around the clock.
Right?
We'll see how long it lasts. I mean, I think that everyone has such short-term memory. And so if the GOP can manage to not shut down the government again in January, this might be something that sort of people forget about in a few. I mean, we're still a ways away from the 2014 election, right? And I think the Obamacare rollout is obviously going to be a huge thing for Democrats, but it seems to me that Republicans can't quite stay out of their own way. And if we go into January and a shutdown happens again, it might be a more lasting effect.
On that note, Mitch McConnell was on one of the Sunday shows this weekend, and he made it very clear he personally has no plans to shut down the government.
You know, one of my favorite old Kentucky sayings is there's no education in the second kick of a mule. The first kick of the mule occurred back in 1995 when the Republican House shut down the government. Look, shutting down the government, in my view, is not conservative policy. I don't think a 2-week paid vacation for federal employees is conservative policy. A number of us were saying back in July that this strategy could not and would not work, and of course it didn't. So there'll not be another government shutdown. You can count on that.
Kate, I'm going to put you on the spot. Is there any education in the second kick of a mule?
I honestly have no idea what that analogy means.
None.
Like,
I think that's
it's an old Kentucky saying.
It's an old Kentucky saying. I don't understand old Kentucky sayings.
I guess not. I mean, any Kentuckians have. I think it's a play on the whole Bush. You fool me once, shame on
someone.
Shame on someone.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
But McConnell, what he's doing there is he's saying, you see those guys, Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, I had nothing to do with that. That was not my idea. And he said it. I mean, last week, every single interview he gave, you could just hear it. He didn't say any names, but it was like, guys, this is not okay, and we're not going to do this again. Of course, Cruz is not going to listen to
Sure.
Right.
Sure, but I do think, whereas there was a time not that long ago before the shutdown that the Republicans were just sort of like, hey, look, he's Ted Cruz. He's just going to do whatever.
Right.
Okay. That now they're sort of having to mount a little bit of an offensive and say, like, he doesn't speak for us.
Right.
Because I think they saw how bad the shutdown was, and you saw that with McConnell. Jeb Bush, who has aspirations of his own, was out over the weekend saying, like, I don't think that's the right thing to do.
With everyone. I mean, just even in the House Republicans, there are conservatives, there's just kind of been this widespread feeling coming out of the shutdown like, Oh, that guy. No, that guy. We're not with that guy.
Who? I'm sorry.
Nope.
Nope.
Never heard of him.
No.
I mean, we did it was an amazing kind of how suddenly, right after the shutdown ended, everyone was suddenly very willing to speak out against Ted Cruz.
Well, I think that the McConnell clip highlights something that a lot of people have been saying is like there are some reasonable Republicans out there, people from our side, right?
Yeah.
From Bill's side, that say, like John Boehner he wants a deal, right? He would deal, and it's something that people say all the time. Mitch McConnell probably just wants the deal. He wants it done. He wants, he worked out the deal with Harry Reid to sort of end the shutdown. But how much trouble are they in when it comes to the Tea Partiers, and how much is what they do dictated by that?
I mean, that's why this all began, right? I mean, Boehner did not want to go down this path initially. They had a whole plan to avoid this exact scenario. And the Tea Party wing of his caucus rebelled. And I don't know how much that's going to be tampered down moving into January. I definitely think it's going to have an effect on whatever, if they come up with a deal, if this budget conference committee, I'm really skeptical that they'll be able to do anything. I mean, it's like,
and when do they have to have all that done by?
The conference is, I believe, December 13th or 14th.
Happy holidays.
Well, I mean, even if they don't, we still get Christmas.
Okay.
I booked my tickets with reckless abandon
You're that
over
confident?
the weekend. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I probably just jinxed it for all of Washington.
Cyprian, hold that tape. Don't lose that tape.
But, I mean, it's still a problem. But I also think that there are a lot of people in both in the Senate and the House that say, you know what, we learned a lesson. This was not good for us. We won't go down this path again, and we won't let people take us down this path again, because this was clearly not the smart move.
Yeah, I mean, when you got people like Sarah Palin jumping back into the story, you know what I mean, who has become somewhat of a carnival act of a politician at this point, you could really pretty legitimately say this is not the way, you know what I mean, like you said, this is not the way we want to go with this, because that's just not
you know what
realistic
I find
of America.
What I find so interesting is, like, when we talked to Wayne Slater from the Dallas Morning News, he said that Texas, they love Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
They love Ted Cruz. And so I have this bad feeling that when you look at, like, on a whole, right, nationwide, 54% say it's a bad thing that the GOP control the House. 63% think that John Boehner should be replaced as Speaker of the House. John Boehner might be part of that 63%, by the way.
That's
like,
true.
He's
right.
probably hoping that he can be replaced.
Did you see the Onion thing? Oh, I think it was on Friday. It was like anonymous source on the Hill says he doesn't want to be Speaker anymore.
That's perfect. That's so perfect.
That is funny.
It was really good.
I forgot who got the picture of him at the airport the morning after the shutdown.
It was
ended.
Olivier.
That was
Max,
Olivier that got
yeah.
it? It was so great. He had this big ass-eating grin on his face. Like, thank God I'm getting out of here, man.
Yeah, no, that's a tough position to be in.
The problem with Cruz, this is all so parochial, right? Like, he's going to do what his supporters want him to do, and the Tea Party guys in the House are going to do what their supporters are asking them to do, which is continue to stand on this same principle. The districts are so they don't have anything really to lose, especially in the House, if they're not thinking about kind of the overall what this means for the Republican Party. If you're just trying to win your seat again, and all you're getting is calls saying, please, shut down the government to continue to fight Obamacare, it's not realistic to expect that they're going to behave any different. I mean, they're behaving exactly how the people that elected them into office are asking them to do.
That's what's so damn frustrating about the whole situation, though. It's just like, really? There's no bigger sight about any of this than the myopia of your own. There's just no grander look at things, and that is depressing on a certain level.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break, if that's all right. You good, Dan? Take a break. We're good on time. Did I mention Dan's leaving, by the way?
Oh,
we'll talk about that when we come back. Yeah. All right, Peter Ogburn, Clinton Yates, we're sitting in for Bill today. Kate Nocera from BuzzFeed is in studio. Watch us live, youtube.com/TawkrTV, and listen to us live on your favorite progressive radio station or on TuneIn app or iHeartRadio app or
a lot of
many options.
I'm telling you, we're ubiquitous.
Givers.
All right, 43 minutes past the hour. We'll be right back.
Follow us on Twitter @BP Show. This is the Bill Press Show.
YouTube.com/Talker, TawkrTV. My name is Peter Ogburn.
I'm Clinton Yates.
We are hosting the show today in Bill's absence. He's out tomorrow as well, so we'll be back. So plan accordingly.
Coming back.
Look, if you like the show, watch us again tomorrow. If you don't like it, you
get it together.
You can first of all get it together, and also you can hate watch us. Yeah? So we're back tomorrow. Speaking of hate watching, Homeland.
I didn't watch it last night.
I didn't watch it last night either, so I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But I will say, I'm in hate watch mode with that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's starting. I mean,
last season was kind of, but I know what they're capable of because that first season was pretty great.
It was awesome.
I feel like that's how I'm going to be about Orange is the New Black next season. Because I hate watched the last episode. I was like, I do not like the way this is ending. It was terrible.
I agree with you.
Denouement was ridiculous, but
yeah.
So I'm sort of I'm looking forward to next season, but not really.
I'll be there.
I don't know what to think.
I'll be there to watch.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I liked it. I agree with you that the ending I was
Not just the ending, but the way the final episode, just everything just sort of fell. I don't know. It wasn't nearly as smartly written from a storyline standpoint, I think, as all the other episodes, and it showed. It was like it just sort of ran out. But
one of if you haven't seen last season of Homeland, I'm about to spoil it for you because the vice president gets hit with someone hacks into his pacemaker. Right, and then kills him. Right. A terrorist hacks into his pacemaker. So Dick Cheney apparently had this fear before the show was ever on. Turns out he had the wireless function on his pacemaker turned off because he was afraid that someone was going to hack into it. He sat down with Sanjay Gupta on 60 Minutes and talked about a variety of things, not only the pacemaker, but he also talked about why he had such a bum ticker to begin with.
This is great.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
He had his first cigarette at age 12, and by the time he was President Ford's chief of staff at age 34, his daily staples included fatty food, beer, and up to 3 packs a day.
Basically,
all the cigarette companies donated cigarettes in a white box with a gold trim around it, embossed with a presidential seal.
Right.
That was kind of if you were cocktail party or meeting in Washington and you whipped out your presidential cigarettes and lit it up with a pack of matches from Air Force One, that was sort of a status symbol.
Sort of a status.
Sort of. Right.
Status symbol.
So first of all, I like that Homer Simpson is in the White House. Right?
Right.
Fatty foods, beer, and cigarettes. Like America.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It's the greatest. But I don't even smoke. I kind of want to start smoking if I could have a box like that.
Dude, if companies were sending me boxes of cigarettes in that manner and I could impress people with it, I probably would too.
Now here's a question. Our president now, Barack Obama, has been known to. He hasn't smoked in a while. He says he hasn't smoked in a while.
That's what he
allegedly,
says.
Yeah,
because he said his wife would kill him.
Right. Not sure how much I believe that, but
I wonder if he just has somebody go grab him a pack of cigarettes, or if he has a.
Does he have a stash?
If he had the Cheney, if he had the Cheney
stash.
package,
right? Because if he's not out and out about it, if people are sending packages upon packages of cigarettes, it's kind of hard to hide
if someone
what
was
you're
to
doing.
Say hey, look, the president likes to have a cigarette every now and then. If he's the president, we should give him the
secret
treatment.
stash.
So maybe they just send him.
Does his Nicorette come in special presidential
Now that would be amazing.
That's the next level.
Like gold, those pop out things.
Yeah,
he's always chewing
they
that.
put it in gold leaf, right? And he chews it up.
That would be awesome,
right? But I also love the idea of a 12-year-old Dick Cheney just chomping on a stogie, playing roulette, eating cheeseburgers, and guzzling beer. That's awesome.
I just can't imagine. I was saying this before, but smoking 3 packs a day, how do you get anything done?
It's a lot of cigarettes.
It's a lot of cigarettes. I feel like somebody would have to step in and be like, dude,
yeah,
you smoke too much. You know what I'm saying? Forget about the obvious health implications. It's you're always gone smoking.
If you smoke 60 cigarettes in one day, you should probably
but you could smoke.
Yeah, you could smoke at work. There was no such thing as a smoke break back then.
Still, that's a lot of cigarettes. I mean, if you're smoking 60 cigarettes in one day, you should be waiting for results of something. That's a lot. That is
just unbelievable to me.
All right. So one of the things that we're going to be seeing coming up today, Kate, is the president's going to be speaking from the Rose Garden about Healthcare.gov, the website that has been plagued by so many issues.
Yes.
A lot of people haven't been able to get on. They've admitted, first of all, they said it was the traffic, and then they sort of walked that back a little bit, and maybe not be entirely true. So the president's going to be speaking today at 11:25, and basically he's going to give some good news about the program, but also what they're going to fix. So what's the good news?
Fix it.
Yeah, right. Please fix it.
I imagine what the president's going to talk about is that some people have been able to get through. There have been some stories about people getting through and finding out that their premiums are going to be much lower than they had originally. But the bad news is seems to be outweighing the good news at this point. They don't have a lot of time to fix this. You have to sign up by December 15th in order to have coverage on January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So that does not give a lot of time to get this thing back in working order. And if people are anything like they were last time, they're going to log on December 14th, December 15th. We're going to have another flood of people to the website.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
If it's not going great, it's probably going to crash again. I just don't know They say they're bringing in, tech teams, best and the brightest minds
Which,
to come
like I
and
said,
fix. But
by the way, they should have the best and the brightest on every single thing already.
It's the White House.
White House.
I'm sorry, what, the best and brightest busy working on Facebook or
That's
something?
what I'm
and they
saying.
can't
Like,
get
that
them?
is sort of frightening. But
it was shocking to me that they didn't really test it at all.
Yeah.
That they were like, oh, I mean, it's not like GeoCities, like you don't just like this
dating.
This is supposed to be like
nice pull.
This is supposed to be, the president has been talking for months and months how this is going to be like the Orbitz experience, where you're just going to be able to go online and compare and shop around, and you think that they would have tested that a little bit more.
Well, we'll definitely be talking about it tomorrow right here on the show, because we'll have the president's comments and we'll see what he says. So, Kate, thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thanks for stumbling over.
And stumble back home now.
Froth. Friends right here on the hill. Sorry,
Make a
I'll never say
t-shirt.
that again. I'll never say it again. 53 minutes past the hour. Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates sitting in for Bill. We'll be back with one final quick comment right after this.
This is the Bill Press Show. is the Bill Press Show.
All right, short on time here. It's Peter Ogburn and Clinton Yates sitting in for Bill Press. Dan, give us some of the math, because we were just talking about how Cheney was burning through 60 cigarettes per day.
He said he was a 3-pack-a-day smoker. I did the quick math. If you're up for 16 hours, wake up at 6 in the morning, go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, that's almost 4 cigarettes an hour if you're smoking all day long.
That's disgusting.
He
must have smelled terrible at all times.
What he smelled like? It takes between 5-10 minutes to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
So you're basically just taking a break every 15 minutes from smoking before you have another one.
I was going to say, the break is the breathing break. Right?
Yeah.
It's not the smoke break at that point.
Just constantly. Like he's probably just lighting the next one off of the butt of the one he just finished.
That is so gross.
And letting it hang out before he crushes another one. Man. All right. Well, look, okay, no wonder you have a bum ticker, man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Been abusing your body for years.
Count them 5 heart attacks.
5 heart attacks. That's an endorsement for smoking and fatty foods and beer and all that stuff that he was doing. All right. Monday's show is over. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow. Yep. Bill is out again, so it's me and Clinton Yates again.
Looking forward to it.
And maybe we have Diddy.
Maybe
we have Sean. Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.
This is the Bill Press Show.